Next, for the introductions, a library is a place where a large collection of books and resources are available for users to use. A library management system is a project that electronically manages and stores book information based on the needs of students. The system allows both students and librarians to keep track of all the books in the library at all times. It enables both the administrator and the student to find the desired books. Books and student maintenance modules are also included in this system, which keep track of the students who use the library and provide a detailed description of the book in the library. There will be no loss of book or member record with this computerized system, which is common with non-computerized system. This provides librarians and students with a more flexible service because this system has a user-friendly interface. Anyone with a basic understanding of computers may use it.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ainfati Aiman binti Mama Yusuf. I would like to present about the problem statement. Every year, we are shocked by natural disasters such as floods, which occur in several states. So with the occurrence of this incident, we can see how important it is for library management to have a database to store all the important information and related data of the organization and management. The first one is to retrieve data online. We know that retrieve data manually use or require a lot of paper and space to put on paper and will definitely drive up the cost. Moreover, data duplication also often occurs, especially when filling out more than one form manually. Therefore, by using this system, which having a database, admins do not require manual data collections. Number 2, to store data securely. Of course, manual data is exposed to the risk of loss and making it difficult for data to be traced. The problem will be more complicated when data or files are lost. Data of student and staff which is managed manually and recorded using paper potentially missing or damage important data. This takes time to find or recover data or files that have been lost, and when staff want to find a file, it is very difficult to locate as there are many files available. Therefore, by using this system, library management system that having a database, the data will be stored in a database safely, and also no potential or damage or losing data will be happen. Number 3 is to generate report based on the latest information. Reports can be generated without the need to manually count the number of students.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nazifa bint Harum. So I'm going to proceed with the scope of the project. So we have two, which is a module to be developed and the target user. So for the module, we have 8 modules. So the first module is manage librarian modules, login and logout modules, change password modules, manage book details modules, book booking, lending and returning modules, penalty or fine calculation modules, penalty or fine payment modules, and reporting modules. And for the target user, we have admin, which is they can manage librarian and student details in the system, and then we have librarian so that they can manage book details and manage penalty payment, and then we have student, which is student can change password, request and returning the book and pay for the penalty.
Next is the project significance, where this project will help staff handle a day-to-day transaction, save the user time to do the borrowing process, the more efficient and systematic system, increase in reporting and monitoring rate, process of reporting and updating book availability automatically, avoid negligence regarding data storage, and lastly, increase the storage level of data.
So next, I'm going to continue with the entity relational diagram, ERD. So we have 6 tables. For the first table is feedback connected to the student table as a foreign key, and then we have find table connected to the student and the book table as a foreign key, and then we have book tables, we have a student table, and then we have admin tables, and we have one bridge table connected to the book, student and admin tables at its foreign key.
On the ERD, we got 5 business rules. The first one, a student may give many feedbacks or no feedback, and a feedback is given by one and only one student. Second, each student borrows 0 or many books. Each book can be borrowed by one or more students. Third, each admin may approve 0 or many books issued by a student, and issued book can be approved by one and only one admin. Fourth, a student pay 0 or many fine is fine paid by one and only one student. Fifth, a book can have 0 or many fine is fine only refer to only a book.
So next is about data dictionary, and for the student table we have student ID as the primary key, and other attribute is first name, last name, password, semester, contact number, email and program, and the other details is required, and it have to be unique for the contact number and email. And for the admin table we have admin ID for primary key, and the other attribute is required for first name, last name, password, contact number and email, and it have to be unique for contact number and email. And for the feedback table we have feed ID, student ID as the foreign key, feedback and feedback date, and all those attribute is required. Okay, next we have issue book database. We have issue ID as the primary key, student ID, book ID and admin ID as the foreign key and primary key. And then we have status, which it can be changed with pending, to pick, unpick and return. And then we have issue date and return date, and all the attribute is required. And then for the book table we have book ID as the primary key, and then we have name, which is book title. We have author, we have edition, quantity, department, status and publish year, and also category. And all the attribute is also required. And then we have find table. In a find table we have find ID as the primary key, and then we have student ID and book ID as the foreign key. And then we have return, we have day, we have find and status, and all the attribute is required.
For the SKR data definition language, we create the 6 table. The first one is table student. For the table student, we create all the attribute, and primary key is student ID, which is can more than 1000, and we check the program is postgraduate or undergraduate. For the table admin, we create the all attribute, and the primary key is admin ID, and it can be more than 1000. Next, for the table feedback, we also create all the attribute into the table feedback, and the primary key is feed ID, and it will be also same, can be more than 1000. And foreign key is student ID, reference student table. And next, for the table books, we create all the table book attribute, and we check the status is available or not available. And for the category, we also check is rare, common or very common. For the primary key is book ID, and check the book ID can be more than 1000 also. Next, for the table issue book, we create all the attribute into the issue book, and we check the status, it is pending to pay, unpaid or return. And the primary key is issue ID, and check issue ID is more or equal to 1000. And the foreign key is student ID, reference student table. Foreign key book ID, reference to book table, and foreign key admin ID, reference admin table. Next, for the table find, we create all the attribute into table find, and we check the status is paid or not paid, and the primary key is find ID, and checks find ID can be more or equal to 1000. And the foreign key is student ID, reference student tables, and foreign key book ID can reference to book table.
Next is the data manipulation language for insert, update and delete. So for this part, it will be insert statement. This is the coding for the insert student, where we will insert 5 students into the system. So if a student wants to register into our system, this is the code for them to register, where they will insert their where the students will insert their student ID, student first name, last name, password, which semester, contact number and email, and also their program. Next will be the insert book part, where the admin will insert a book into the system, where there will be a few categories, which is the book ID, the name of the book, author, edition, quantity, department, status, publish year and category. This is the example for the insert statement part. Thank you. Next is the data manipulation language update statement, where this is the students will update. For this example, the students want to update their email or password. So this is the coding for them, where they will set the password, email and which ID of the student that they want to change. Next is the update book, where in this example the students will where the admin wants to update the book from its category to a different category. So this is the coding for it, where we set the category to common and the book, and where the book ID is etc. Next is data manipulation language for delete statement, where for this example, delete issue book. So if a student wants to borrow a book but then cancels it, so this is the coding for it, where it will delete from issue book, where issue ID is to a certain ID. And the other example is delete book, where for the admin wants to dispose of a book where the book is not popular or is not picked anymore. So this is the code for the admin to delete the book, which is delete from book, where book ID is etc. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ainfata Aiman binti Muhammad Yusof. I would like to present about the SQL data manipulation language, relational algebra and select statement. So basically this is the symbol set being used in our project. The first one is sigma symbols. It is used as an expression to choose tuples which meet the selection condition. So basically sigma symbols is used for selection statement. Number 2 is projection symbol. It displays the columns of a relation or table based on the specific attribute. If the SQL statement mention about the attributes that they want to display, then the projection symbols is being used. Number 3 is aggregation. It is a process by which entities are combined to form a single meaningful entity. Examples of aggregation function is count, sum, average, mean, max. If they mention about these 5 aggregation function, then aggregation symbols is being used in relational algebra. Next is renaming symbol. It is used to rename the output of a relation. Number 5 is a join symbol. It is a condition between 2 or more tables based on matching columns, thereby creating a relationship between the tables. So basically join symbols is used for join using, join on, and much more. Assalamualaikum and a very good day. My name is Ainfata Aiman binti Muhammad Yusof. I would like to present about the data manipulation language. So basically the reason why I put it side by side is to make it easier to see the SQL statement and also questions and relational algebra. So the first one is selection and projection operation. So the first question is to list information of all students. So basically we just select all from student. When we run it, we got the data of the student, which here we have 4 students. And this is the relational algebra. The second question is to list information of student who is an undergraduate student, which we have to use where statement. So select all from student where program undergraduate. So when we run it, we got this list of information who are students that are program undergraduate. So here, program undergraduate. Question 3 is to retrieve name, author, edition for all books which status is available. Here we have to use where statement too. So select name author edition from book where status is available. When we run it, we got two information, which is available, books that are available. Question 4 is to find the feedback which date is written 2022, displaying the feedback ID and feedback date. So this is a feedback ID and feedback date. And from feedback where feedback ID is 2022. We have to use like statement. So when we run it, we got the date where it is 2022. And the last question is to retrieve the issue number, book number, and student number for a book that is being issued as a pending. So select issue ID, book ID, student ID from issue book table where status is pending. So here it displays only one book that is pending. And grouping operation. So let's move to the first question. Retrieve total number of students. If the question mentions total number, so we have to use count. Select count from student, count all from student. So it listed that we have 4 students in the database. So this is the aggregation in relational algebra. This is aggregation symbol. The second question is find the quantity of books for all books. So this is from table book. So select count book ID from book. So it listed that we have 4 books in the database. Next, for question 3, display the details of the fine which has the minimum fine price. So we have to use the minimum aggregation. So here we use nested. The first selection is to select the data in the database table fine. And the second selection is to select the minimum fine. So it listed that we have 2 data. Next is for the question number 4, find the number of books for each edition. So if it mentions each edition, so we have to use group by. So here edition, select edition, count book ID as count book. This is the renaming from book group by edition. So it listed here we have three books. So here we have to use CR since we use renaming here. And this is for the aggregation symbol. And then question number 5 is find the number of books for each edition with more than one edition. So basically the same question as number 4, just that we have to add with more than one edition. So we have to use having count book ID more than one. So if we compare to this question number 4, here it listed that we have 3 editions, but in question number 5, it mentioned that with more than one edition. So basically, in question number 5, it will only listed one row, which is the first edition, count book 2. Okay, now is inner and outer join operations. So basically, the first, second, and third is an inner join operation, while the fourth and fifth question is outer join operations. So let's move on to the first question. To retrieve feedback ID, student ID, and student first name of all feedback, which is an undergraduate program. So basically, the feedback ID, student ID, and student first name, we have to mention here. Feedback ID, student ID, and student first name. Where it is an undergraduate program. So basically here we use natural join, where from feedback, natural join student, where program is undergraduate. So here it display that we have 3, which is undergraduate student. Question number 2. Find the first name, semester, and program of student for funds that are status not paid. So here we use simple join. So basically the status as not paid. So it listed here we have only 1 student. The third question is find the name category of books that have been issued. So basically we have to use here we use join using. So to select find name and category, so we have to mention here in the select statement. So here it listed that we have 4 books that are that have been issued. Question number 4. List all student and any issue book that have the same student number by using left outer join. So this is an outer join. So it mentioned here that we have to use left outer join. So basically, this is the SQL statement, left outer join. And then this is the output. So basically, issue book will be combined to the find table. And question number 5 is a full join, which it says that lists all students and any issue book that have the same student number, along with any unmatched student or book being issued by using full join. So basically, it will combine both tables together. So this is the output. This is the output for full join. The last one for data manipulation language is nested and subquery operations. So basically, the first question is display the issue number and the status of all books being issued by admin James Bond. So we have to mention issue number and status in the select statement from the issue book tables, which the second select statement is we have to find the admin who names is James and Bond. So here is the details which book that issued by James Bond. Question number 2. Display the student ID, first name, last name, and semester of all students who managed the book being issued with status of pending. So we have to mention student ID, first name, last name, and semester in the select statement from the student table. And the second select statement is from issued book table, where status is pending. So here it displays that we have only one details. Number 3 is display information of all students that have given any feedback. It says that we have to display the information of students that given any feedback, which the feedback must be not null. So here the first select statement is to find the students, and the second select statement is to find the feedback that is not null. So here it listed here we have 3 details. Question number 4 is to find the details of the find that has the highest find price. So basically we have to mention here is the first is to select the details that we want to display. And then the second select statement is to find the maximum find price. So here it is 15. Question number 5 is to display the student ID, name, and program for student. So we have to mention these 3 for students that have fund price more than maximum, or fund price for fund with status not paid. So basically, first we have to mention student ID, FNAME, LNAME, and also program. So here we combine it and rename it as name. So it will display like this. And then it says that fund price more than maximum, or fund price with status not paid. So basically it says that more than, so we have to use these symbols. And the second select statement is select max fine, where status is not paid. So basically this is the details that are being displayed. So we have 4 here.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Ain Fataiman binti Muhammad Yusof. I would like to present about the system contribution. Firstly, data and information can be saved in a database without being exposed to the risk such as data loss. Number 2, data can be traced back anytime since DBMS automatically takes care of the backup and recovery. Therefore, the user don't need to backup data periodically because this is taken care by the DBMS. Number 3, data consistency is to ensure in a database because there is no data redundancy. Number 4, helps administrator to register, update, delete, and search data in one more effective way.
Next is system drawbacks. The first drawback of our system is it's costly and expensive. Second, the data stored is prone to cyber hacks and risk of data loss. Number 3, requires high-speed connectivity to operate. And number 4, system may be complicated to operate without proper guidance. System improvements. Number 1, students have to input their real-time pictures of themselves into the system before they can borrow a book to prevent the possibility of theft. Number 2, system creates a customized catalog for the students to pick and choose based on the most borrowed and picked books. And number 3, system detects books that are rarely borrowed for disposal or replacement purposes. That's all from our team. Thank you.